What's up, y'all? It's your boy Flacco here at GoPowerSports. As you can see, we're at the headquarters here. We're gonna show y'all super quick the full assembly on a TM15. Let's get it. So, I like to start by going ahead and clipping all the zip ties. The little yeah. All right, all the zip ties cut. Go ahead and start disassembling the frame. Get that guy off. Get all your plastics and protective coatings off. And you'll still have a couple more plastic pieces, foam pieces, still zip tied. Go ahead and snip those. Get all that good stuff off. Then you can come up to the front of the bike and you'll see that it's still secured to the shipping frame by the front axle. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the front axle and the front axle bolt nut. Push from one side, pull it out the rest of the way. You'll see your front axle spacers are on there. Put them right back how they were. Now bike is completely released from frame. I'll go up on the stand, just like so. I like to start on the front end of the bike, kind of give it a little balance because you already got a back wheel on the back side. So to keep it from teetering as much, I'm gonna go ahead and put the front end on. Got your number plate zip tied, set that aside. Handlebars will be zip tied as well. Release those. Get your handlebars released. I like to take the plastic off of them. And just set those up top, kind of let them hang out there. And I'm gonna start from the bottom, work my way up. I'm actually gonna start with my front fender. And you got this guy here, cardboard box that'll contain all your hardware, little tool kit, things of that nature. So once you get your box open, you'll see the contents inside contain your Kickstarter, handlebar pad, safety first. You got your lower and upper handlebar mounts, tank vent that'll get slipped onto the gas cap. Got a cable holder for the front end, tie your cables together. Got your gear shifter, and of course both foot pegs and owner's manual. And in the case that you don't have a physical owner's manual inside of the box, that is always posted on our website, the parts breakdown section, www.gopowersports.com. So now, let's get our front fender installed. You'll need a 8mm socket. I'm using the Unpacking, it's a little bit quicker, but the hardware for your front fender is actually already gonna be installed into the bike, into that same section. And you'll see you'll have 3 M6 bolts along with 3 washers. Take the fender, 1 washer, 1 bolt per hole. And you wanna start all these by hand first, obviously. Make sure you don't cross thread anything. All right, got them all started by hand. Hit them with a couple ugga-duggas, nothing crazy. Fender on, your number plate hardware already be installed in the designated position it should be in. And I'm gonna use a 10mm wrench and my 8mm on my Unpacking again to get that hardware. Your number plate will have 2 male plugs, and you'll see that your fender has 2 female plugs. And they just fit off into each other. I'm gonna go ahead and fish my brake line through my number plate. Now this one is kind of hard to start by hand. What you can do, if you're using deep sockets, use the socket to get it started. 10mm and an M8 to tighten, nothing crazy. Couple other duggers, good to go. I'm gonna come on down to my front wheel. You'll have another zip tie on your brake caliper. That will need to be removed. And you will also have plugs inside of the brake caliper. You wanna go ahead and remove that. You'll notice that you got these little pieces with your TM15. I like to use these as a wedge to somewhat open up my brake caliper. And you wanna do this somewhat gently. You don't wanna damage your brake pads when pressing them open. And it doesn't take much. You just want to make it give you a little bit more room when installing your front brake, so you'll be able to slide the brake disc in and won't give you trouble. Got front wheel, front axle, along with the spacers. Brake disc is obviously going to go on the brake caliper side of the bike. You'll notice that your two front spacers are two different sizes. The longer spacer will go on the brake side. So when installing, you're gonna remove them both. Start with the short guy, just like so. And be sure when pulling your wheel up to your axle, what I'm doing is actually watching my brake disc and my brake pads. So right now I got them lined up. My disc is inside my pads and I'm keeping them there. So we got axle in through the first spacer, saw our way through the wheel. Now I'm gonna take my second spacer, and you can kind of turn these forks a little bit. Nothing wrong with that at all. Slide that guy there. Line those back up. Boom. Slide the axle all the way through. Start that guy by hand. And you use a 17mm to tighten and a 14mm on the opposing side. Once you get your axle bolt tightened, check your spin. You can go ahead and give your brake a couple pumps. Make sure everything copacetic. Good to go there. Now we got our front wheel up. Like I said, we're just gonna work our way up. So I'm kind of giving myself a little slack on my brake cable there. Just readjust my handlebars. So for your cable holder, you use a 6mm to open it up. But once you get that guy open, you want to take your cable, insert it in between the cable holder. Remember to give yourself some slack. Hold your cable in place. Tighten it back down. Let's get the plastic off of our handlebars so we can get those bad boys installed. You want to start with your lower handlebar triple trees. You got a couple holes to choose from. I like to use the foremost hole. I feel like that'll be the most comfortable, give you a little bit more room. Make sure you line these guys up evenly, because they are asymmetrical. Doesn't really matter which way they go, you just want to make sure you put them the same way. You can start it by hand. A 5mm Allen tighten. So we got those bad boys somewhat snug. Now I'm gonna make sure they're nice and even before I snug them. Because remember, when you get your handlebars in them, that's it, you can't tighten them anymore. So you do have to go ahead and tighten these. Just be sure to keep them nice and parallel. Just like that. Handlebars, set those guys down in place. And those cables do kind of resist. They are strong, so you might have to kind of hold your bars a little bit. Grab your upper clamps. Make sure these guys are centered. Adjust your angle to your liking. I like them forward just slightly. Make sure they're nice and even. Got my angle where I want. So you got a 6mm Allen and a 8mm Allen for the bottom section. Alternating, going back and forth. Make sure you tighten these nice and even. So after you get your handlebar set, you want to make sure you adjust your brake handles. And you'll use a 4mm Allen. Snug those bad boys up. Same thing with your throttle, double check it, make sure it's not loose. Good to go there. Everything nice and snug. So we got the whole front end done. Now I'm gonna come to the midsection of the bike. Since I'm already up top, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the seat so we can get our battery installed. Double check, make sure everything's electrically intact. And we use a 13mm socket. It's got to be a deep socket to remove the seat. Pop the seat off. Make sure you keep your washer and your bolt. Back on the seat for the time being. Now you'll use a Phillips head screwdriver to install your battery. And you'll see here, hardware for your battery terminal post. It's gonna be taped to the battery itself. Battery already be on the bike, just not connected. You take these guys, slide them inside the battery terminal, one of the Phillips head bolts. Just tighten it up. You'll see that terminal nut start to rise. Make sure the terminal's covered. like so. Same thing with the negative post. Snug it up, cover the post. Then you can give your battery a quick check. Cut the key on and just give it a quick hit. Everything good. Go ahead and put our seat back on. You got a couple hooks underneath the bottom of your seat. You got a hoop there to hook on, and you got this bolt right here to hook on. And they can be adjusted if you can't hook it. But you want to press down, make sure you slide underneath that bolt, pull up, make sure you're under both the bolt and the hook. Line up the seat hole, the bolt seat bolt. 13 millimeter to tighten. Good to go there. Now we'll come on down to our foot pegs. Those guys on. So we're gonna remove the cotter pin, set that aside, as well as the pin and the spring. You got a tab on the spring there, the tab there. This one will rest up against the foot peg like so. This one's gonna rest up against the bike like so. And just lining up everything and pressing at the same time. Simple as that. And you'll reinstall your cotter pin, just like so. Can't go nowhere. Pedal retracts, pretty simple. You'll repeat the same thing on the opposing side. Next, we'll get our Kickstarter installed. We'll start by removing the 10 millimeter nut that's in it. You won't be able to install this with the nut in. You have to remove it completely. Remember, when putting this on, it'll only go one way, obviously. So, just like so. I prefer that angle right there. That way, if it's any further down, you'll see that it may make contact with the exhaust. So you want somewhat of an upward angle. Slide that guy on there. And when reinstalling the kickstand, you will need a 10 millimeter wrench to do so. Good to go there. We're gonna go to the opposing side and install our gear shifter. And the same thing as the Kickstarter, you use a 10 mil to remove that bolt. Has to be removed entirely. So when installing your gear shifter, this is somewhat personal preference, the angle of it, the typical throw of it. Obviously you don't want to be up there, you're not going to be able to shift. With this being an all upshift bike, meaning no down gears, I like to have a little bit more down angle because this is primarily where your foot's gonna be anyhow. So you see that slight angle I got there, put our 10 mil in, and you have to find that groove that's in the shifter shaft. Because it is a groove specifically for that bolt to go through. Get that guy there, snug them up, 10 mil, nice and snug, good to go there. All right. So you got this yellow card here. You'll see what it's telling you exactly what to do. If you look on the engine, you'll see there's a little nipple. That's a crankcase ventilation. And you'll see that you also have what looks like a fuel line because it has a filter on it. It's actually the crankcase vent. What you're gonna do is remove the zip tie off of the hose, and the nipple off of the vacuum cap off of the nipple, and the hose is going to go on there. So, and it is easier to do this with needle nose pliers. Slide that guy there, grab your hose clamp, slide that guy down like so. Nice and snug. Make sure you don't have any kinks in that line, because remember, it is supposed to breathe. With any kinks in that line, it's not gonna breathe. And then finally, we come over to our rear section. As you can see, your shock's not installed. So that's about to take care of next. Super simple. You got bolt's gonna be hand tight. So putting that shock on, I'm gonna be using the 14 millimeter socket and a 14 millimeter open wrench. I'll start by lining up your shock bolt hole with the holes on the swing arm. And I like to kind of use my legs to hold everything in place. Slide that bolt in, 14 millimeter nut, opposing side. And nothing crazy, just a couple ugga duggers. Double check the top section, make sure it's snug, and it is. Then we got these last couple pieces, so mostly aesthetics. It's kind of a safety thing. You want to make sure you get that installed. That's your handlebar pad. Doing so, just gonna slide that guy there. Sits down on the handlebars, Velcro strip around and underneath the pad, secured on the bottom. And you got another cable holder here. It's kind of optional. If you see somewhere where it may be more critical than other places, and obviously you throw it there. Nothing really jumping out at me on this bike. So what I'm gonna do is put a little extra one up front, keep everything intact, and your tank bit. That guy just simply slides over that nipple on your cap, just like so. And that is pretty much it when it comes to assembling a TM15. So now we're gonna get a little bit of fuel off in it, get it test rolled, make sure everything's nipped and tucked, and get ready to roll. Let's get it. All right, so we got a little fuel in it. I'm gonna come over here just to be safe. We're gonna check our fuel oil level. They are oiled up from factory, but it's always good to double check that before cranking it up. Oil level good. Let's get a test run in, see how she rolls.